National service, just like any agency, had been hit by it. At one point, we had to move our mandatory leave from July to April to make sure that our national service personnel were safe. And we recalled them on the 4th of May after His Excellency lifted the ban. Yet we've been in talks with the agencies, making sure that they're still practicing all the measures and also giving them the social distancing, protecting themselves. And some are still running shifts. So for us as an agency, it's been a point of always, right from when the virus started up somewhere in November, meeting all these agencies and making sure that our people are safe. We still have people who have to use public transportation and other ways to get to the office. So in as much as they are working, we are still trying every time to get in touch with them through their portals, trying to send them messages, alerting them on the COVID-19 and how much they are all supposed to protect themselves. Yeah.
Okay, but we know that the organization themselves have taken steps, and so they are rationing the numbers. Do you have some sort of monitoring mechanism to check attendance, for instance, and whether even in institutions where these personnel are working, those measures are being observed for the safety of the personnel?
We do. So we, naturally for us as a process, we have what we call the monitoring evaluation, which is done monthly by the staff of national service, i.e. the district officers. And now we've been able to set up a committee at the headquarters, both headquarters and the region, going around making sure that our staff are really working, and then those that are supposed to be out are also being catered for. For instance, when you check the teachers, when they went on their leave, they could not be recalled to do the online teaching. But right after 4th of May, they've been asked now to be part of the online processes and all these things. So between February and April, all the allowances we had to pay, we had to still rely on the backdated just to pay. Meanwhile, at every month, we're supposed to make them validate. So to cut all this human interaction, we still had to rely on the ones that had been done, because no teacher is working. But then you cannot say because a teacher is not working and then it's a lockdown from the president. So you have to pay them. And the private sector people who had also been locked on these whole process.
We'll come to the private sector. And so for the period that the lockdown was imposed, for instance, you paid?
Yes, we paid.
Okay. But what is the fate? Because we seem to be getting a lot of concern. You see that there is a lot of anxiety among the final year students as to exactly whether you are going to carry through with the timelines for this year's national service, or you are thinking about postponing the service.
Right, Redwan, the only people that can postpone our service will be our board of directors, which are supposed to meet at the end of the month. But for us as an agency, we've been clear about right from 2018, when we didn't even know there was going to be any COVID-19, we tried to cut a lot of human interaction in terms of our registration and the service process. So we brought in the appointment system where people have to book appointment to come. When you come to our place now, you have nothing more than 20 people at any point in time. And we have about 10 booths that people are registering with. So we have all these processes that had been done right from 2018. But one of the things that we had done now is to make sure that the timelines are going on as prepared. We issued our pins. NSPs are registering. Now we are doing more momos. We are doing more of those ones, the digital platforms to even do payments. And we believe that when the board should meet somewhere end of the month, the board can clearly come out with the position on what exactly we are doing.
But is postponement one of the options being considered by the board?
It would be me putting the horse before the cart, because until we sit as an agency, the staff had sat down with our technical people looking at all the options for us. But like as we're saying, for those in the health sector, those in the education sector, you cannot say you're postponing, because these people also are relied on, especially on when they do this e-reading, e-learning. Our staff are supporting. At the hospitals, when even it was locked down, we're still being sick to come and support. So all these people are people we post. Maybe those who go to the private sector, maybe the administrative support, we may consider that, but I do not think it would come to that point where we would have to postpone service.
Okay. Finally, in wrapping up, let's talk about the private sector. A lot of them are reeling under the adverse impacts of the pandemic. Are you contemplating waiving the allowances?
All of these, like I said, had been consent written to us by our private agency users, and our board will have to sit on it. For instance, we as an agency cannot say in a minute that we are under the Ministry of Education.
Right.
So most of the time, right after our board meets, that is when we can send any communication to our minister for it to be considered. But for now, yes, we have had private conversations with people in other sectors as the private sector. We've tried to mitigate their risk in other ways. We've tried to give them all the comfort they need as agencies to be able to thrive. Ours is to see them working well. Because when my NSP is not given the opportunity to work, then my mandate as an agency is also down. So we've been in talks with them, all the private sectors.
Gifty, do we know when the board is expected to meet?
My board is meeting before the end of the month.
Before the end of the month. So
precisely 27th.
So clearly, by the first week of June, we should expect an announcement. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio tonight. Gifty Owari-Abuaji is Deputy Executive Director for the National Service Scheme and telling us a lot about what the future looks like for the prospective service personnel for the service year 2020 and 2021. And we know that on Sunday we are celebrating our mothers. Mothers are essential to every family, but not all families are privileged to have